The freezing water was a nightmare, but Jack held on. He held onto the floating door, he held onto Rose's hand. He saw the rescue boats in the distance. They were small dots in the vast dark ocean. He remembered his promise to Rose. He promised he would not let go. He kept that promise. He fought the cold. He fought the fear. He lived. They both lived. Surviving the Titanic changed everything for them. It was not just the end of a terrible night. It was the beginning of a new life. A life they would build together, far from the rules and expectations they had known before. Life in New York was simple. It was also beautiful. Jack found work as an artist. He drew pictures of people in the busy streets. He painted the colors of the city. Rose was with him. She was no longer the sad girl from high society. She was free. She learned to ride a horse like a boy. She helped Jack sell his art. They did not have much money, but they had something more important. They had each other. Their small apartment was filled with love and sketches, a world they created just for themselves, a safe harbor after the storm. Every day was a gift. They never forgot the cold or the screams from that night. The memory was a shadow, but it was a shadow that made the sunlight seem brighter. It reminded them how precious life was. They talked about the people they lost. They honored their memory by living fully. They promised to never take a single moment for granted. This shared memory, this deep, unspoken understanding of loss and survival, became the foundation of their relationship. It was a bond forged in ice and fear, now warmed by shared dreams. Jack and Rose were more than just in love. They were partners. They were survivors. The world saw the Titanic as a great tragedy. For them, it was a harsh beginning. It was the test that proved their love was real. It was stronger than steel. It was warmer than the richest coat. They had faced the worst the world could offer. Now, they were ready for anything. They knew that as long as they were together, they could face any challenge, navigate any sea, and find their way back to the light. After the Titanic, their love became a quiet strength. It was not loud or showy, it was in the small things. It was in the way Jack would bring Rose a hot cup of tea without her asking. It was in the way Rose would mend his worn-out coat. They understood each other without words. A simple look could share a whole story. They had seen the worst of humanity and the best. They saw people fight for lifeboats, but they also saw people sacrifice themselves. This knowledge made them kinder and more patient with each other, appreciating the simple goodness they found in their shared life. Their bond grew stronger with every passing year. The memory of the sinking ship was a constant presence, but it did not break them. Instead, it made them hold on to each other tighter. They would sometimes wake up from nightmares of the freezing ocean. In those dark moments, one would comfort the other. They would talk until the sun came up, reminding each other that they were safe, they were together. These shared vulnerabilities were not weaknesses, they were the threads that wove their souls together, creating a tapestry of resilience and deep, unwavering trust. They found joy in simple adventures. They explored every corner of New York City. They went to noisy markets. They watched plays from the cheapest seats. They danced in their small apartment to music from a radio. For Rose, this life was a revelation. She had grown up with everything money could buy, but she had never known such happiness. With Jack, she learned that true wealth was not in possessions. It was in experiences. It was in shared laughter and the freedom to be herself, a freedom Jack had shown her was possible. Their love was a quiet rebellion. Rose's family had declared her lost with the ship. To them, she was gone. This gave Rose a strange kind of freedom. She did not have to be a DeWitt bouqueter anymore. She could just be Rose. And Jack was not just a boy from the third class. He was an artist. He was a hero. He was the man who had saved her in more ways than one. Together they built a new identity, one that was defined not by their pasts, but by their shared future and the powerful, enduring love that lit their way. Years passed. It was now 1925. Jack's art was becoming known. He received an amazing offer. A gallery in Paris wanted to show his work. Paris, the city of lights and artists. It was a dream come true. For a moment they were filled with pure excitement, but there was a problem. To get to Paris, they had to cross the ocean. They had to get on another ship. The thought sent a chill down their spines. The sea had given them each other, but it had also tried to take them away. Could they face it again? The decision was difficult. Rose saw the conflict in Jack's eyes. He wanted to go. It was the chance of a lifetime. But the fear was real. She felt it too. The memory of the tilting deck and the black icy water was always there. One evening, she took his hand. "We survived the Titanic, Jack," she said softly. "We survived it together. We can't let fear rule our lives. We have to keep living. We have to be brave." She knew they had to do this not in spite of their past, but because of it. To stay on land forever would be letting the tragedy win. They chose their ship carefully. It was called the SS Île-de-France. It was a new ship, celebrated for its safety and modern design. It was nothing like the Titanic, they told themselves. It was a symbol of a new era. Booking the tickets was a big step. It felt like they were closing one chapter and opening another. They decided they would not travel in luxury or in steerage. They would travel as themselves, Jack and Rose, two artists on their way to a new adventure. This voyage was a statement of their courage and their faith in each other. Boarding the ship felt strange. The sounds were familiar. The smell of the salt air was the same. But this time, they were together, walking up the gangplank side by side. They were not hiding. They were not running from anything. They were walking toward their future. They held hands tightly, their fingers intertwined. They made a silent promise to each other. They would watch over one another. They would not let fear win. This journey would be different. This time, they were in control of their own destiny. The first few days on the Île-de-France were peaceful. The sun shone on the calm water, but then, small, unlucky things started to happen. A vital piece of navigation equipment suddenly broke. A small fire started in a storage closet, quickly put out but leaving everyone on edge. These were dismissed as accidents. But Jack and Rose felt a familiar unease. They had seen how a series of small problems could lead to a big disaster. They started paying attention, their senses sharpened by their past trauma. They noticed things other passengers ignored. The whispers began among the crew. They talked of a jinx, of bad luck following the ship. One night, Jack and Rose were walking on the deck. They overheard two sailors talking in hushed tones. They spoke of a valuable, ancient artifact in the cargo hold that was said to be cursed. They said it brought misfortune to any vessel that carried it. At first, it sounded like a silly sailor's tale. But the series of unfortunate events made them wonder, could there be more to it than just superstition? The mystery began to deepen, casting a shadow over their journey. Instead of panicking, they decided to act. Jack used his charm and easy manner to talk to the crew, gathering more information. Rose, with her knowledge of high society, spoke to the wealthy passengers, trying to find out who owned the mysterious cargo. They worked as a team. Jack's street smarts and Rose's refined instincts complemented each other perfectly. They were not afraid. They were focused. This was not like the Titanic where they were helpless victims of fate. Here they could investigate, they could find answers, they could protect the people on board. Their investigation gave them a sense of purpose. It was a new test for their bond, and they faced it together. They knew the ocean was powerful and unpredictable, but so was their love and their will to survive. As they pieced together the clues, a feeling of hope grew within them. They had survived the impossible once. Now, they were stronger and wiser. Whatever mystery the Île-de-France held, they would face it head-on. Their adventure was far from over, and together, they were ready for the next wave, proving their love was the most unsinkable thing of all.